Hey, well, welcome everybody. Kia ora kato nai mai haere mai. Welcome. I'm making a prompt start. I'm Jane McLennan and I'm going to be your presenter this afternoon. I'm grateful enough to have Nicola here with me. She's in our customer success team and she's going to monitor the chat bubble as we go and answer any questions. The webinar will run for about 30 minutes and will be recorded for future reference. If you've got any questions at all during the webinar or any feedback, please put it into the chat box and we'll answer your questions as we go. So the topic of today's webinar is to prepare for Christmas. For me, I want to make sure things are as simple as possible so I can go away at Christmas and enjoy myself. So what I'm wanting to cover this afternoon is first of all to create a shortcut to Farm Focus on your smartphone so you can keep an eye on your financials wherever you are. I want to give you a demonstration on Farm Focus on a mobile friendly device. And what you'll find is that it might look different, but the functionality is the same. Next, I want to talk about the bill payment feature so you can learn to set your invoices to be paid whenever you like. I want to talk about paying your GST early, especially in the holiday period. And I want to suggest a simple task to do while looking after your kids during the school holidays. I want you to take the opportunity potentially to say goodbye to your filing cabinet and put all those paper-based material from your filing cabinet into our document storage. So the first thing we want to do is create a shortcut to Farm Focus on your smartphone. Whether we like it or not, we've always usually have our smartphone with us, even on holiday. And Farm Focus is creating a mobile-friendly platform. And I want to demonstrate how to add Farm Focus to your home screen so you can easily access it. This will save you time and allow you to complete daily tasks on any device, anywhere, at any time. And I'm going to cover this both with an Android device and an Apple device. And I'm going to start with an Apple device first. So the first thing you need to do is log into Farm Focus, into your own database, till you get to the dashboard here. Once you're in that, if you've got an Apple device, come down here and select the upload key. Next, you'll need to scroll down till you see Find This, Add to Home Screen, and click there. Then you get the opportunity to add a name. You could say, call it Farm Focus or your farm business name if you like. Then select Add, and you'll be rewarded with a shortcut to Farm Focus on your home screen. If you've got an Android device, it's very similar but slightly different. Log in once again to your own business, right into the dashboard like in here, then come up to these three magical dots, select those. You'll get this option to click on Add to Home Screen, click there. You'll get again, write the name of that shortcut, either Farm Focus or your farm business, and select Add. And then you too are rewarded with a shortcut to Farm Focus on the home screen of your smartphone. Now, don't worry if you didn't get all that. I know I ran through it quite quickly. We've got a great Help Centre resource that covers how to do this. Go to the Help Centre and search up either Android or Apple to read that resource and see the screenshots. So now we've uploaded a shortcut onto our home screen of our smartphone. What I want to do is demonstrate how Farm Focus works in a handheld device. Now, depending on your browser, whether you're Google Chrome or Apple Safari or Microsoft Edge, your experience may be slightly different. Your experience will also differ depending on the type of device you've got, the brand, the model, and also the operating system you use. So there is going to be a little bit of trial and error, but just remember the functionality is going to be the same as what you have on your laptop. It just might look slightly different. So what I'm wanting to do now is move to the demonstration database. And I'm also going to turn my camera off so you're not distracted by my beautiful face. So when you first, what you'll notice I've done is I've decreased the size of my screen so I'm able to demonstrate the same experience as what you have on your handheld device. And when you first come in, you'll land in your dashboard like you normally would, and you'll note that all the information is still here. You just might need to scroll up and down to view it. Up here, we've got our menu bar, and we can open up our navigation, and you'll see we've still got all the same pages, but things have perhaps moved around a little bit. Here is our Help Centre. You can click on here and get any helpful Help Centre resources you might be interested in. Here's our notification icon, and here is where you can log out. I can go into my profile if I like and make any changes to my personal details or my billing. I can go into my settings, say I want to add a new user. I can do that here on the smaller screen. But we know we spend most of our time in the Needs Action page, so I'm going to go into that next under Actuals using the drop-down arrow here and into the Needs Action. And what you will find here, quite quickly you'll notice that you'll see that now invoices are on one page, and you've got to move up here between pages between your invoices and your bank transactions. Now, when you're on a laptop, if you remember, you usually have your invoices on the left-hand side and your transactions on the right. But when we're on a handheld device, we need to move between them up here. And you can tell what page you're in because it's underlined with green. Now, all that same information is in here, it just might be in a slightly different or hidden place. So for example, if I use this drop-down arrow here, this is where I can create a manual invoice, a tax invoice, or search. Now you'll notice I can still sort by invoice date here and by due date. And what you'll notice here too is that I've got a lot of stuff going on in here and I've got to scroll between it. Now that's not a good look, and that's why this little icon here becomes very important, your change visible columns icon. If I click on that, I can select just the columns I'm interested in seeing being displayed. And when I do this, now I've got all that sort of meaningful information all here in Farm Focus, and you can see here how it's stacking nicely on top of each other. The information's all here, it's just looking slightly different. You can see in this timber merchant invoice, this invoice is coming through the invoice scanner. I can tell by this token here, I've got one attachment and it's uncoded. I can click into this invoice just as I normally would, and you'll see with any large invoice, you'll have to scroll down to see all the information. Here is the header. I can click into the header and I can make any edits if I like. I've just added a reference here and done. And now you can see the references popped up here. And once more, you can code these invoices just as you would on a PC or laptop. So all those coding tools are still available. So for example, this is a timber merchant invoice, and all these invoice lines are about fencing. So I can still use the bulk code coding tool. So for example, I can just select the lines I want to all code to the same code, which in this case is fencing. So I start typing in fencing, the most obvious code appears, I click that, select done, and now you can see these three lines have automatically been coded or bulk coded to repairs and maintenance, fences and yards. I'm going to cancel out of that because I also want to show you that this select all key still works in a manual held device. So if I select that, all four lines of my invoice have been selected. Once again, I'm going to start type fencing, select that, done, and now you'll see all four lines of this invoice have been coded with repairs and maintenance fencing. If I go into this Agri Services invoice, You'll see this invoice again has come through the invoice scanner. I've got the attachment up here, and I've got 4 lines here all about a repair to my milk vac temperature gauge. Now, what I want to demonstrate now is the merge function. Once again, I can select the select all option here, and all 4 lines have been selected. And once again, in Farm Focus, if I hover over any icon, it will tell me what it is. This is the merge icon. I select that. All 4 of lines have been compressed into one, which is the behavior I would have expected. The description of the first line has been retained. Again, the behavior I would expect. I come into here and now I just simply code this one line. It's R&M, plant and equipment. I want to change that description to something more meaningful to me, which is repair VAT temp gauge. And then I press done. And now you can see that this invoice has been nicely coded with just that one line, and I press save. You can also too create coding rules using a handheld device. I haven't got time to show you that now. But if you're not using coding rules when you're coding your invoices in Farm Focus, I would highly recommend you do. And please go and check out our Help Centre resource on that. Learn to create coding rules because they will ensure your coding is consistent and they will save you a lot of time. So there's also a little video in that Help Centre resource which will walk you through the process step by step. So please take a look. I can also, if I'm wanting to, go and check things out on my plan. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you create your budget on your smartphone, but you can always come in and check things. For example, you might be interested to learn about what, know what your milk income, you want to check what your milk income was, say, in October. And you can come and just quickly have a look at your plan on your phone. Maybe you're talking to your farm consultant and they asked you that question. You can come and find the answer right here on your phone. So I just want to give you a few other tips of how you can best use your phone with Farm Focus. And one of those is to make sure that your farm email is also on your farm. So you can go into your phone at any time and send invoices to Farm Focus directly from your phone. The other thing to do is make sure you have your invoice scanner email address saved as a contact on your phone, and that will make that whole process more simpler. So at any time, you can go into your emails and forward your invoices to Farm Focus, or if you want to, you can get out your phone when you're bored watching your kids and start using that shortcut, start coding your Farm Focus invoices. How good is that? I love using my phone to code my invoices. So that's all I'm going to show you or demonstrate to you on that Farm Focus on a handheld device. What I would encourage you to do is after this webinar is to create that shortcut to Farm Focus if you haven't already done that, and have a play with Farm Focus in that mobile friendly device. But using Farm Focus on your phone is a really handy tool, but it doesn't replace being able to use Farm Focus on your laptop. So I'm just now going to make my bring my full screen up again, because what I want to show you now is something else that I like to do when I go on holiday, and that is to have all my bills set up to be paid while I'm away. So to do that, I need to create a batch payment, and then I need to upload that into my internet banking. I can actually do that as early as the 7th of the month, because generally speaking, I've received about 99.9% of my invoices by the 7th of each month. And then I just need to probably go in around the 20th and tidy up and make sure I've got all my invoices into Farm Focus. So let's walk through how you pay invoices in Farm Focus. First of all, you need to go into your actuals page and to bill payments. And bill payments is a great example of automation. It will save you time and it will reduce errors because it pulls the payment amount directly from the invoice. So there's no need to retype anything and no risk of any typing mistakes. So the first thing you need to do with bill payments is set up your contacts. Make sure that all the suppliers that you're wanting to pay are in your contact list and their bank account details are also there. Next, all you need to do is simply come along and tick the invoices that you're wanting to pay in your batch payment, and then come along up here and select Create New Batch. When you do this, this combines all these selected invoices into a single payment batch. So I'm going to click here. I have to select the date I want to pay these invoices, which is usually the 20th of the month. And then here, my batch payment has been produced. I can tell that this payment date is set for the 20th of December 2024. I can tell that all my invoices to be paid on the 20th of December add up to about 32K. And this is what my bank balance is going to be after I've paid these invoices. So this is a demonstration database. This is looking particularly healthy, isn't it? This is providing that you've got bank feed set up in Farm Focus. So what you can do is you can review this batch file, and if, for example, you don't want to pay your electricity bill for this month, you can come into these three magical dots and I decide actually I'm going to pay this later. You can remove this electricity company from the bill batch file and it disappears, and subsequently the total amount disappears. Once more, if you want to, you can print this batch payment. This can be very handy if you want a second pair of eyes to verify your invoices. This is good for me. We employ a share milker, so I always print this out and get the share milker to check it before I pay it. And this tells me, of course, what my bank account is. These numbers are all fictitious because it's a demonstration database. But when I'm happy with this, I can then export my batch file. Once I've done this, what I need to do is download that batch file and import that file into my internet banking. Now, each bank handles this slightly differently. And I know this can be a barrier to why people don't adopt bill payments. So what I want to do now is show you how you import the file into various banks. So I'm going to go back to my demonstration, my slideshow here, and I want to show you where you go in the various banks in New Zealand. But be aware too, generally speaking, you need to have a business bank account for your farm account rather than a personal login to utilise this facility. So with BNZ, you need to come up here into the Transfer Pay and then select Import a Transaction File. If you're with ANZ, you need to go up to Pay and Transfer, pay several payees, and then here is where you upload the file. If you're with Rabobank, you need to come to Transfer and Pay, Batch Payment, and then import a batch file, and then you upload here. Now I'm going to go back to my database because the next day after you set those invoices to be paid, and in this instance we set that batch file to be the 20th of December. So on the 21st of December, providing you've got bank feed set up, all those transactions will automatically appear here, and then all you need to do is match those bank transactions to the invoice, and that is a very simple process because, as you can see, the invoices are clearly identified by this token here that tells you the batch number for that batch file. So that's the ideal world for bill payment. But unfortunately, we don't live in the ideal world. And when you first embark on the bill payment process in Farm Focus, you might find that you need to update your contacts and tidy them up a bit. So what I want to work through now is some common pain points and solutions that we find, so that when you come up against those, you're feeling really confident. So I'm coming into my bill payments again. And you will note that with this ag service invoice here, I can't actually select it. I haven't got one of these boxes here, but instead I've got this information icon here. If I click into that, it gives me more information, and it's telling me that your other party is missing bank account details. Add them now. So I just simply click into that. I can add the bank account details, and once again, I'm just making these up because this is the demonstration database. I save that, and now you can see I can select the Agri Services invoice. Another issue that we commonly find is if I come in here with this icon under Farmer Joe Contracting, it's telling me your other party is not set up as a contact, view invoice. Now this confuses me because I know that I set up Farmer Joe Contracting in my contract list, but this is telling me it's not set up. That's strange. I view the invoice. I come up into the header, and here is what is in my invoice. It's telling me that my invoice is to Farmer Joe Contracting. If I use this drop-down arrow here, this will take me into my contact list in Farm Focus. And what you'll note here quite quickly is that on the invoice, Farmer Joe doesn't have an E, but when I set Farmer Joe up in my contact list, I put an E on the end of Joe. And what's in your invoice needs to match exactly to uppercase, lowercase, every letter, even spaces, to be able to connect the names. And that makes sense, right? Because the bank needs to know that it's an exact match of who you're paying. So what I need to do now is what I can just copy the name that would appear on the invoice. So I'm just going Control Copy. I'm going to come down into my contact list, across here into this pencil here. I click on that, and this allows me to edit this contact. I'm just going to go Control Paste, and then I'm going to save. And now what's in my contact list in Farm Focus matches what's on the invoice. I select Save here. And now you'll notice I can select Farmer Joe Contracting. Another little tidbit for bill payments is that I actually never add the bank details of a supplier or a company that I've got a direct debit with. And that prevents me by accidentally double paying them by selecting them. So here, this milk company, I actually can't select that because they automatically pay me and take my deductions automatically. So I don't want to, by mistake, double pay them. So why use bill payments? Because we've found a lot of people aren't actually utilising this tool, and it's absolutely fantastic once you've got it set, set up. And to me, the advantages are you're pulling the information straight from the invoice, so you know it's correct. You're not retyping that amount. So you're not getting, say, your 6s and 9s around the wrong way, or your decimal point in the wrong place, or you're missing out a digit and paying your supplier $3,000 instead of $300. The other great thing about the bill payment process in Farm Focus is you're able to copy and paste the account number. So if so what you can do is in your electronic copy of your invoice, if you open that up and you find the bank details in the invoice, copy using the Control C, copy the bank account number and paste that number directly into Farm Focus contacts, and you'll have that exact bank account number, and you won't need to check, double check, triple check that you've got that bank account detail correct. Another advantage too is that you can create the batch file at any time you like, which is especially important if you're going away on holiday. You also know the exact total of all those invoices you're going to pay on the 20th. Historically, I used to have a spreadsheet that I used to calculate what my bank balance was going to be on the 20th to make sure I had enough money in my bank account. Those days are long gone because I now use bill payments, and Farm Focus will calculate that for me. And finally, the matching process is super quick because, as I pointed out, the invoices in your batch payment are clearly identifiable so it makes it easy to match them. So if you aren't using the bill payment function in Farm Focus, I really would encourage you to have a go and do that. The next thing I wanted to talk about was GST. And I like to file my GST as soon as possible. You've done all the hard work up front coding the invoices, so your GST now only takes a matter of minutes. And I often file my GST only a couple of days after the end of my GST period. I especially do this if I'm getting a GST refund, because usually the IRD will pay me only a couple of days after I have submitted my file. And it's better that that money sits in my bank account and not in the IRD's bank account. And even if I do have to make a payment, I file my GST straight away and I set that payment up for the 28th of the month. So the final thing I want to talk about is a task that you could do while looking after your kids in the school holidays. Because if you're anything like me, you've got to have to spend a little bit longer at home than you normally would. So you might as well utilise this opportunity to put all those important documents that you have into your document storage. Remember, we've got this new feature here in Farm Focus called document storage in our vault here. And your document storage is a handy spot where you can keep all your important farm business information in one place. This could include all your lease agreements, your farm maps, your animal health records, your bank statements. Think of it as a digital filing cabinet, a perfect place for storing all that paperwork without the clutter. So not only can you attach as many attachments as you like to document storage, it is super easy to upload paper documents into document storage straight from your smartphone. So what I'm going to demonstrate now is how you upload paper-based material like all those bits of paper in your filing cabinet into your document storage. So first of all, you need to click onto the Farm Focus shortcut in your mobile device, which I've just shown you how to create. You then need to go into the navigation bar into your vault and select Document Storage. Then you need to choose where you want to save your item in your file structure. For example, I'm going to demonstrate saving my employee's first aid certificate under my health and safety folder in my document storage. I want to take an electronic copy of this certificate that's currently in my filing cabinet and place it in my document storage so I can throw that that paper-based certificate away. But I know that I've always got a copy of it in Farm Focus, and I know Farm Focus is backed up to the razoo, so I'm never going to lose that first aid certificate. So once you've identified where you want to save that file, you need to select the plus add and then file upload. A pop-up appears, select take photo. Your camera opens, snap a photo of the document you're interested in, and just like magic, it will instantly upload into your document storage. Farm Focus lets you know that the upload is complete, and here it is just sitting here. What I would do though is I would come to my three magical dots here. I would select those and I would select rename, and I'd rename this file something meaningful to me, something like Michaela's First Aid Certificate 2024. So isn't that so simple? And this is just such a great task to chip away at during that holiday period when you're spending a little bit more time at home. Now, if you want some suggestions on a file structure, or you want to learn how to create all the different files within the document or folders within the document storage, go to our Help Centre and search under document storage. There is a wonderful resource and a little video there as well. So your document storage is a safe place to keep all those farm documents in one place, easily accessible by anyone with access to your subscription, and it helps establish this paperless work environment. And you can keep adding to that document storage year after year. So that's all I want to say today. I know I'm bang on time, but I just want to quickly reflect back on our aims. The first thing we covered was created a Farm Focus shortcut on our smartphone, so you're able to access Farm Focus anywhere, even on holiday. I also gave you a quick demonstration of Farm Focus on a mobile-friendly device or your smartphone. And what you saw there was the functionality is the same, it just might look slightly different. We then walked through the bill payment process, and remember, using the bill payment process in Farm Focus saves you time, reduces human error, and creates flexibility of when you pay your invoices. We then talked about filing your GST early, especially if you've got a GST refund, and then we talked about document storage and using the holiday period as a good time to get all those documents that are currently in your filing cabinet into Farm Focus, creating a true paperless work environment so everything is accessible by all your trusted team. But before I sign off, I just want to make you aware of a campaign that's underway at the moment, a Refer a Friend campaign. So if you know anyone that would benefit from Farm Focus, please tap them on the shoulder. If they sign up, we'll give you a $200 voucher to say thanks, and they will receive a 30% discount off their sub for the first 12 months. So everybody wins. So please spread the word, start referring people today, and make the most of these amazing perks. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you so much for listening. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'll speak to you again next year. But don't forget, if you want some further information, we've got an incredible help centre there full of lots of resources and videos, and our customer support team or success team are there at the end of a phone and would love to hear from you. So thanks very much. Have a great New Year and Christmas. I will keep the